Hello and welcome to this session. Today I want to show you how to secure Java web application using Azure Active Directory and Keycloak. So let's get started. In a previous video, we have seen how to secure web application using Keycloak with defined servlet filter provided by Keycloak in our web XML file. And to use this filter, you need to load it using Maven. So we added this dependency, Keycloak servlet filter adapter. And after that, we provided this JSON file. It holds the information about the resource in Keycloak Web SSO server. So this is the URL, the secret, and so on. Today, we will go a step further and secure our web application using Azure Active Directory. Microsoft provides a way to secure your Java web application using Azure Active Directory. All you need to do is to change the configuration in your application. You have to adjust the web XML file and add some servlet to your application. However, if you have several applications, so you need to do the same change everywhere and you need to redeploy all your application. So we will not take this approach. We will keep our authentication against Keycloak. We will not touch this here. We will only add Azure AD as authenticator in Keycloak. It means that the only change is here between Keycloak and Azure AD, and this is very flexible, so you don't need to redeploy your application, and this gives us flexibility. If, for example, in the future you want to change the authenticator, so all you need to do is to change the configuration here in Keycloak. So let's see how to do that. So to achieve that, all we need to do is to add a new registration for our Keycloak in Azure portal and then define the Azure Active Directory as identity provider in Keycloak. So all this change consists of only two main steps. So let me show you how to do that. So on my local machine, I have Keycloak installed and running a web SSO server. I defined this realm and also I defined a client to secure web application, and what we need to do now is to register this web server in Azure. So to do that, you have to go to Azure portal. You need account at Azure portal, and after that you go to Azure Active Directory, and then you go to left here in this menu, app registration, and here you have only to create new registration. You click on it, you give a name, for example web demo, and you keep this one because it is a single tenant here, and here you have to choose web because it is web application, and this is the redirect URI, and we don't have this information, so we will do that later. First, just put localhost. We will change that afterward. So we register our application. After that, you have to save this information. This is the client ID because we will use this information in Keycloak. So let's save this information and a tag. And this is the directory ID. This information is also useful. I will show you why. And after that, we have to go to Keycloak and copy all this information there when we define the new provider. But this is a bit tedious. We will not do that. There is another possibility. You can also use this link here. This is the link provided by Microsoft. You have only to replace this directory ID with the correct one. In our case, this is the directory ID. And after that, you need to create credential in order to enable Keycloak access Azure portal. And for that, you have only to go, we don't need this. We have only to go here, certificate secret and new client secret that will be consumed by our Keycloak. And you give a name and you keep this configuration recommended 6 months. It doesn't matter, it is just a demo. Add new one, and you have to save this information. This is the value, the secret used in that will be used later. So this is the secret, this is the client ID, and this is the secret. Now we can go to Keycloak. We go there to Keycloak. We are now in Keycloak, our local instance. In this menu, identity provider, you have only to click on it. There is several possibilities. You can add Facebook, Bitbucket, or whatever. In our case, we will use OpenID Connect. And here you have only to provide name. We will define new one. Azure alias is Azure AD. Display name is Azure Active Directory, and you see either you have to provide this information from Azure portal manually or just give the link, this link here. We put this link there. You have only to provide the ID, the client ID. This is what we copied here. This is the client and the credential. Copy here. Client authentication, we will choose this one, client basic authentication, and then add. Let's see what's happened. You see all this information are loaded from Azure, so it means that everything works as expected. Now we can save the change. Change has been saved. So after creating the identity providers, you need to copy this redirect URL and add it in Azure. So we copy that here and we go to Azure and you open your application registration, and here in redirect URI, you click on it and you see at the beginning, because the URI was not known, we just put it this dummy value. So what we can do is to remove it and add the correct value. Now we save. Now how to test whether this provider is working. There is several ways to achieve that. We can go to client, and here with this console we can click on it, and in this button sign, Azure Active Directory is also suggested. So you have the choice either here or here. And let's click on this and you are redirected to Microsoft. In our application we don't need to change anything. So all changes are done in Keycloak. Let's do the test. Let's start Tomcat. So remember, we didn't change anything in our web application. All changes are done in Keycloak. We don't need to redeploy. We have only to start Tomcat again. Application has been started. So let's try to access our web application. It is on local host. Oh, let's see. Yeah, and you see now we have the possibility to authenticate using Azure Active by clicking on it, redirected to Azure. Thanks for watching and bye.